Hello YouTube, Captain JGB84 here with my camera that I film the occasional thing with. It's time to start the 800 subscriber Q&A. Let's begin. As for my 5 favorite films, Billy, from number 5, The Dark Knight. Yeah, it's good. Dark Knight. Yeah, it's awesome. We all know why. It's The Dark Knight. Number 4, The Gray. Woo! This is probably the newest film on the list. Yeah, this is the film where I was like, holy shit, Liam Neeson can still act. And, this could be a pretty, chilling film to watch. There's plenty of, a lot of dramatic bits. It has arguably one of Liam Neeson's best performances ever. I think he was totally snubbed for Best Actor nomination because I had to give it to Daniel Day-fucking-Lewis for Lincoln. But yeah, it's got some great philosophies, some good symbolism, and come on, it's Liam Neeson. Just he's basically done Taken for the last few years, but come on, it's Liam Neeson actually giving a shit. Number 3, and this is my favorite Disney film of all time, The Fox and the Hound. Oh yeah, this is my absolute favorite Disney film. I like Frozen, I like Tangled, I like Pinocchio, Cinderella, I like all them, but Fox and the Hound, I don't know why, this one did it for me. Disney was kind of struggling in the 70s and 80s, so that's why you got a lot of the films like Oliver and Company that were just terrible. This one wasn't as, say, well received. But for me, it just holds value to me. I think it's got a great moral, a good lesson, some great characters, and it's the one that I watched the most as a kid. And I'll gladly watch this film 100 times in a row. It's just a beautiful film. Number 2, and this is my favorite Baz Luhrmann film, Romeo plus Juliet, or William Shakespeare's Romeo plus Juliet. When I was in grade 9, we were learning about, Romeo and Juliet. We watched 2 movies. One was the one from the 60s. That's the one that's more accurate, in terms of, just as the times. It was set in the 1500s or whatever. And, it just told the story as it was. I found it just made me more confused watching that. And then we watched this version, and I'm like, oh man, there's guns and shit. But as I kept watching, I'm like, hey, wait, I'm starting to understand it now. I'm starting to understand, what it's, the themes, the story, the character motivations and stuff. This was the film that made me understand Romeo and Juliet. And I remember just, looking everywhere just to get the DVD of this, and I finally found it. It came in a 2-pack with, Moulin Rouge, which is somewhere at the moment. Moulin Rouge, another one of my favorite films. But this was the one, and it also introduced me to Baz Luhrmann, and I love Baz Luhrmann. He's awesome. Though I wish he'd do more films. The performances are great. Leonardo DiCaprio dies. Spoilers. But I just like the style of it. The themes all felt true to Romeo and Juliet. And yeah, I just love Romeo and Juliet. And yeah, guns and shit. And my number 1 favorite film of all time, Memento. Yes, Christopher Nolan strikes again. Yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard to go into depth of about the story of this without kind of spoiling too much. But just watch it. I think it's a fantastic performance from Guy Pearce. A fascinating story. A fascinating structure to tell the story the way it did. And it's just one of those films. Every time I watch it, I find something new, or I realize something different, or I have a new look on it or something. But it's one of those films I could watch 100 times in a row. Though it is kind of one of those films that I just wish I could have that experience again of watching it for the first time. So yeah, those are my top 5 favorite films, and hope that answers your question, Billy.
Favorite Red vs. Blue era? I guess Reconstruction, season 6, 7, 8. Though, personally, I found season 7 just to be awful. I thought that it was one of those cases, it was kind of like season 9 and 11 in a way, and that there just wasn't anything happening. It was just set up. There was some stuff happening towards the end, with Caboose bringing Epsilon Church back online, or introducing him, or whatever, and some other stuff involving. There was one moment I really liked where they're in the minefield, Griff, Simmons, Sarge, and they all start. And Griff starts yelling at Sarge, saying, like, "I've always disrespected you. Now go fuck yourself." Just stuff like that. I thought that was really funny. Stuff like that. I thought that was good. But yeah, I like that particularly because it became serious, but it still retained the comedy element. And it was like. I do especially love the ending of season 8. Like that huge epic fight, and Church decides that, like, if you're gonna spend the rest of your life in a memory, you might as well make it a good memory. Like, it's one of those things. If Red vs. Blue had ended right there, I would have been fine. But no, we got another 5 seasons to go. And my favorite season by itself is season 10. I've said this many times. Season 10 to me is the most mature, I think, and almost feels the most personal in a way. Filled with some, great fight scenes, some great action, some great character moments, some good character development as well, and just a good story. That final episode when Carolina and Epsilon finally meet the director face to face. To me, that's the moment when we really get to, like, meet the director. Like, everything else we see him in Project Freelancer when he's yelling at everyone, that's just all a facade. That's just an act he keeps up. Like, when he takes off his glasses and you look right into his eyes, that's the moment we, like, truly get to know this character. He's just this pathetic, like, empty husk. He's nothing. And, and then there's the full final twist, like, he's Carolina's father. And that, he probably was trying to bring her back just so Carolina could have a mother. I don't know, that's how I always saw it. And it's another one of those things. If it ended right, if season 10 was the end of all of Red vs. Blue, I would have been happy. And we got some good development for Tuck. But yeah, season 10 is my favorite season. No, I have not actually played the Mass Effect trilogy. I just never played it, so I don't really have much of an opinion on it. Will I ever play it? Probably not, unless I'm planning on buying an Xbox One soon. Unless they remaster it, then yeah, I think I'll play it. But at the current moment, no, I have no real interest in playing it. And yeah, that's it. There's definitely, both types of influences inside of YouTube and outside of YouTube, obviously. Inside of YouTube, there's no, like, I guess one, like, star I kind of strive towards. It's more of just the odd user here and there. I mean, Bandit Incorporated, Jeremy Johns, Confused Matthew. Those are the big 3, I suppose. Confused Matthew in particular. If I'm watching a movie on my own time, and I'm just sitting there going, like, I'm gonna nitpick it. For some reason, I nitpick it in Confused Matthew's voice. I don't know. Or if I'm sitting there being all fanboy, being a butthurt fanboy about it, then I'll hear myself speaking with Bandit Incorporated's voice. That sounds weird, but trust me, it's just how I work. Yeah, Jeremy Johns. I've always wanted to do something like how Jeremy Johns does, with a lot of, like, quick jump cuts and whatnot. Just, I don't know, I'm just not that, I guess, dedicated. Because, look, truth be told, YouTube is something I do on my own time, on my spare time, really. It's not something that I sit there going, I have to do this. I mean, yeah, there's the videos I love making. I love doing the reaction videos. Those are the most fun things to do, because I can just do whatever the fuck I want in them. I can go crazy, and people are just like, this guy's a fucking maniac. But I just love doing those. I mean, the movie reviews, I've kind of considered stopping them, like, from time to time, because it's like, they don't get many views. But at the same time, it's just something fun to do, and I like doing unique things and whatnot. But outside of YouTube, not really too much. I mean, yeah, there's the film. I'm influenced by the directors I like. Baz Luhrmann, Catherine Bigelow, Joe Carnahan, David Fincher, Christopher Nolan, all them. Yeah, the filmmakers that I have that I strive to be like. But that's more in my film school life, my double life, which I should probably talk about that one day. But outside of YouTube, not much. I mean, my dad supports my YouTube. I mean, my dad doesn't really understand how YouTube works a lot of the time. So yeah, my mom kind of laughs at me. She's like, Jesus, Jack, 800 people. Who in the right mind would want to watch your material? Okay, she's not Southern, but she's from Hamilton, so I don't know. Yeah, so that's really the influence. There's certainly, things I try to do. I mean, back when I did Adventure Quest videos years ago, I mean, it was like the big threes, Rule 82, Fury P, Pure Evil, AQ Bear. They were the big influences on me when I was doing those years ago. I still play Adventure Quest every now and again. Videos may not return, I'm not sure. I'm still debating with that. But but as for influence, it sort of comes and goes, really. I mean, as I'll see something, I'm gonna try something like that. So there's no real one solid influence. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, Billy.